All right. Well, on the topic of
Mhm.
ICS, let's use that as a segue to our next section.
Mhm.
I'm going to share my screen again. Can you see my
I
screen?
can.
All right. So here we have a tier list. It goes from S, A, B, C, D, wild card, overpriced, overrated, and dumpster fire. And here we have basically every airsoft
Oh my
manufacturer.
God.
So let's start off with ICS. Where does ICS rate on this tier list?
I would say A, almost,
Okay.
because so ICS has a really good reputation for doing a lot of stuff differently. And whenever anyone does something differently in the airsoft world, it usually doesn't hit because almost every company wants to step out of Tokyo Marui's shadow. And
Basically, everything is a clone of Tokyo Marui. Like you said, a version 3 gearbox, that's a Tokyo Marui AK gearbox.
exactly. So everyone wants to step out of TM's shadow and they want to do their own thing. But almost every time when they do, the community grills them pretty bad for it. And everybody wants to be the new standard. Everybody wants to be the next company that everyone else has to follow. I say ICS deserves the A tier because they did a lot of stuff differently that they still do to this day, and they have a really dedicated fan base for it.
Are you talking about like the split gearbox?
Yeah,
or?
surprisingly, it's got a huge following, and the amount of times I'll see it's like, well, the BTWs did or something like that, and they got this huge reputation. Why not ICS? They've been doing it forever, and I always think of ICS as they make a lot of good replicas with crazy, interesting internals, the MOSFET system, the turn-off switches, the adjustable trigger units, a lot of that stuff that doesn't get talked about very much.
Yeah, I am really impressed with ICS, and I know one of your friends, Stewbucker117, he loves ICS, and he's always testing them and talking about them, and nothing but good things to say about them. So yeah, I'll give them A tier.
I wish they could get licenses though.
Right, I think I'm gonna have to put Tokyo Marui in A tier as well. Then
I would say that the only thing that makes me want to put it a little higher, is
because they're OG.
They're OG, and they did almost everything that everybody else banked off of it. The M4 was their whole thing. They made the AEG popular. Yeah. Almost anything they do, people jump on that and try to rip it apart and learn how it works so they can make their own version of it. Without TM, how many companies would still exist?
I agree with that 100%. But what I'm thinking of is like when you use Marui in a country with a 1 joule limit, like, Italy or like Japan, it's perfect. You don't need to modify it. It's
exactly
shooting max out of the box. But when you use it in countries where you have 2 joules or more shooting 600, 700 FPS,
it's not even a TM.
You have to gut them.
Yeah.
If you buy a TM, you're gutting it. And all my TMs, like half of them are stock and half of them have been gutted and made into customs. So it seems like TM is the ultimate base for everything. But like out of the box, like it's going to be outshot by stuff if you're playing it over a joule.
Exactly.
Because it's designed for the Japanese market.
TM is God tier where it matters.
All right. So we'll say it's a variable. So it's S tier for Japan and Italy, and it's A tier for America and European countries. All right,
that's usually the complaint. It's like TM is overrated for America.
Yeah. For Japan, it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to do anything to it. I just do it because I got bored. I'm like, hey, I wonder if I should replace all the internals. And I did. I'm like, oh, it's 3% better.
What's that? What is it? Pisces is you probably know what I'm talking about. The whole removal board from a boat is still the same boat, but if you replace everything,
Shippothesis.
Okay, yeah. What the hell was I talking about?
No idea, but yeah, it's a Shippothesis argument. Like if you strip out a Marui, is it still Marui? It's not
exactly
because it's defined by its parts. All right, next one here. Which one do you want to choose? I can't comment on all of these. I only know half of these manufacturers, to be honest.
I can't see the logos. They're too small, and I'm scared to press anything here.
No problem. I'll yell them out then. So next one, G&G.
G&G, they kind of do a lot of what not ICS. So I reached out to G&G forever ago to try hooking up like a partnership because I liked them the most out of everybody I worked with the replicas and their huge catalog of everything they did. So even though I work with them a lot, I personally enjoy that they make so many different things. You know how they have
Right.
They have the SIGs, they have M14s, they have they used to do
ARP9s.
Exactly. And they've made so many legendary guns. So the ARP9, the combat machines. I didn't even know the M14 was their first ever replica. That blew my mind.
I didn't know that.
I had to ask one of their longtime employees, and he's like, "Oh yeah, believe it or not, that was our first actual gun." I was like, "Okay," but I like them a lot. I don't want to put everybody on A tier because now I'm trying to think. It's like, well, does G&G deserve to be exactly where Tokyo Marui is? So I might want to put them in B, but maybe you can talk me into that.
I'd put them in B. I think they're going to be A tier really soon. Like they are doing some amazing stuff at the moment. Like the version 3 of the ARP9 with the internals it has, absolutely beautiful. They're becoming new standard. The stuff they're doing for Speedsoft is incredible.
Oh, yeah. They embraced it. You know?
Yeah. I'm happy with. If you look at like the CM16 B tier, but if you look at some of the new stuff they got coming out, then kind of A tier. So it's like,
and they have some misses.
B.5.
And they have some misses too.
Yeah,
like they made their own high kappa, and that's when they were like, "Hey, we're done trying to follow TM spec," and they tried their own thing. And I think it completely flopped. They kind of, a lot of the community just laughed it out of the room. But at the same time, ICS made their Challenger, and they 100% embraced the TM compatibility, and they got praises for it.
Oh, you need compatibility, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, let's grab some stuff that's definitely not going to be in S, A, or B tier. So here is some stuff I've seen some from Chinese websites. D-Boys.
D-Boys is...
I haven't used a D-Boys gun. I've bought some D-Boys mags that didn't work very well. I bought a D-Boys C-Mag, I think, and it worked for all of like a day.
I think that D-Boys is obsolete at this point. Whenever we started 8 years ago, D-Boys was like shit. Like, hey, you need to start Airsoft, you either pick a G&G combat machine or a D-Boys AK Echo 1, which is basically the same thing back then, or a SEMA. And they were all thrown around in the same kind of category. So D-Boys used to be the thing that helped you start. But they're totally obsolete now. Like, there's no need for you to even start off with a D-Boys anymore.
So are you thinking D or dumpster fire?
I wouldn't say dumpster fire because it'll at least get you there. It's kind of like you get any shitter car just so it gets you to point A or B.
Cool. It'll work.
Yeah, it'll get you started.
All right. I'll throw it in D tier. Other one is Echo 1. I believe they're about the same.
Yeah, they're gone too. I think they disappeared at about the same time the D-Boys stopped being relevant, really. And this is only in my experience here in America, because I know someone's been like, well, D-Boys is actually the top tier here in I don't know where land. So
Slovakia.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. One that I want to put in S tier that you're welcome to disagree with is Systema. Systema is god tier in Japan.
Put them up there.
This is the gun that people get to brag about.
Yeah.
It's basically a 1-to-1 perfect copy of the guns, and people drop a G, drop 2 Gs on this, and they bring it to events, and they just, as soon as someone brings one to an event, everyone's like, ooh, can I touch it? Can I play with it? And it's the one that gets the attention. So,
a lot of times, when I see them, they're not operated, though. I don't know why, but they're always trashed. But no, I totally get what you're talking about. It's like taking a Ferrari F40 to a Honda Civic car meetup.
Basically.
Like, what the hell are you doing here? But wow.
Right? And I heard they're actually used by some parts of the military in training exercises.
Heard the same?
Is that correct?
Yeah, I've heard the exact same. Now, I can't confirm it, but I've heard the exact.
I don't have any sources, but that's what I heard. I did hear that Airsoft was adopted by the Coast Guard for official training, and that's on the Wikipedia page. So it could actually be the Coast Guard that's using Systema. But yeah, I don't know, man.
I would
something
that I'd put Real Sword, honestly, S tier almost. I don't know if I'm overdoing it.
Really? Okay. What's your justification?
Because they're like a holy grail thing. So people will be like, hey man, I got a SEMA SVD. Oh wow, that's really cool, man. I've got a Real Sword. And then they start like bowing down to you. Real Sword a lot of times has that thing where this is really good in LCT or an ENL or something, but the guy who brings out the Real Sword, everybody's like, man, that is a beautiful piece. They're so old a lot of times, but I've heard, and I can confirm this one, the Chinese military have basically bought a lot of Real Swords, and that actually drives up the cost of a lot of the remaining stock on certain things.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Japanese whiskey, so yeah, I get it.
Because they use them for their training, and if they're using that for their own training, they've got to be for a reason. But then again, they're like the only people that actually make their rifles, so like replicas of the rifles.
I'll agree with that. Let's do some rapid fire now, because this could take forever. All right, WE Tech, I'm saying B tier.
Yeah, B tier is really good for that. They're great if you want to begin as a gas blowback guy.
Yep. Crytek, I'm gonna, give Lilacs a little bit of love and put that in A tier.
Yeah, I would.
B tier.
Yeah, I wish they would do some more unique stuff, but they're getting there. B tier, I guess, for me.
A or B?
I say B tier.
All right. KWA.
I wish their reputation was as good as it used to be. I would honestly put them maybe at C tier. They do a lot of stuff that other people do, like to copy and use them as bases, though.
Yeah, I'll put A and K in C tier as well, because I've got an A and K M249, and
that's what they do really good.
They do really good saws. They can make you a saw for $300.
Oh yeah,
but
they don't have the diversity of anybody else above them, really.
Nah. Bolt, I'm going to put them in C tier because in Japan, we just get non-stop complaints about them not working. There's just so many fail issues we get with Bolt.
I hear they're great when they work.
Great when they work. So I guess that's wildcard. No, I guess...
I'm agreeing with you.
See?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
See?
I haven't messed with them myself.
All right, next one. Arcturus is becoming more popular.
Oh, yeah.
Opinions?
Absolutely. I agree with that sentiment. I want to work with them because I feel like they're going places for sure. I really can't wait to see whether stuff they do in the future, and if they try doing other stuff besides AKs, or if they try doing lesser known AK stuff.
So B tier?
B tier, I would say. They're getting pretty good.
Yeah. Next one, APS. Like APS have some great snipers. They've got the Red Dragon in Japan. That's really popular.
APS here doesn't tend to do very well. Their shotguns are famed, but everything else, it's like stay away from them here a lot of times.
All right, so you feeling C?
Honestly, I'd put them at D.
Really?
It's just, I don't ever hear anyone here in the United States praising their APS if it's not one of the Cam 870s.
Okay, next one is Ares. I've heard different things about Ares. Like I have some people saying stay away from them, they're total trash, and other people saying they're really good affordable guns for beginners.
Affordable.
So I haven't used one yet, so I can't comment, but where do you stand?
The stuff I like by Ares is all really expensive. They make, when they're focusing on it, they have some beautiful, beautiful externals. But whenever they're doing AEG stuff, I kind of stay away from it. They try to do their own thing a lot of times, and it just backfires and backfires. A running theme here is if you want to step out of Tokyo Marui's shadow, you better do it so good that no one can deny it. Ares has a very hard time getting anywhere near that. But stuff like their Car 98K that I've been messing with, I freaking love it. I wish they would make an actual AEG or gas blowback WA 2000 because all we have is the old classic Springer. But if I got given one of those, probably one of the nicest things in my collection.
So I'm hearing wildcard then.
They do the weird stuff very, very well. Their AEGs, I would not really mess with them. It's really hard to swing me over to that.
Cool. I'm fine with that. I'll jump on SRC next. So I've been using an SRC CO2 MP5, and it's beautiful. It just doesn't work when it's supposed to work. There's gas leaks. I've had to have it serviced. It's beautiful when it works.
The SRU.
I haven't. Sorry, please. Yes.
I was gonna say the SRC stuff that you're getting. Sadly, we don't get here. SRC is another one of the completely irrelevant companies for a lot of people here. They make the XM8. That's the only thing I really care that they make.
Really? All right. So I'm going to put them in C tier.
Okay.
They're basically the same as Bolt for me. Classic Army? B tier? C?
Yeah, I would say C. They started getting better whenever they made their comeback. But I don't think there's anything I could really say that I absolutely need to get from Classic Army right now, except for their OSW FAL stuff. I did like their M16A1s and XM177. That sparked my interest whenever I got into it. But they're focusing on what sells very well, like they should, and I like the unique stuff that doesn't sell very well. So it's probably
nice.
I'm probably the person that's outlier here.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. S&T, I would put them at D tier, but I think they might have moved up to C tier now. They're getting better.
Yeah, I would say the same. They do make a lot of the unique stuff that we don't see anyone else do. Those a lot of the World War II replicas that I wish would just put together better.
Yeah, they're really good display guns.
Yeah, exactly. You could destroy one with an LCT, but no one else is making the stuff they make.
Yeah, which is fine because it's really cool when people make rare stuff.
Exactly.
All right, Cyma. Like for me, like when I started 20 years ago, Cyma was D tier, but now like they're getting better.
I honestly would put CYMA at the top because they do everything. Like,
what are you saying? S tier?
Yeah, honestly, because how many people
if you can back this up, I'll give it to you.
How many people copy CYMA? Like,
how didn't CYMA just copy Marui though?
Yes, exactly, but they did it better than so many other people. They made AKs so affordable for everybody. They did all the AKs, like
all of them. My God, there's so many.
They made all of them, and they're such an easy default answer to give for, hey, I'm just starting airsoft. What should I get? Like, there's such an easy default answer to give. Do you want any AK ever imaginable for about like $150 US, 170? Yeah. Go to CYMA. Do you want something a little better than the Platinum line got super popular here? Go to CYMA. Evic jumped on them super fast, and they've been selling crazy.
I see a lot of CYMA with Evic.
Oh, yeah. So that's why I put them at the top, and a lot of people copy them, for sure. It's just a very easy choice, honestly, for me. I don't have very many CYMAs in my collection, but I know what they do for the industry is insane.
I'll agree. Like, for the industry and for making airsoft, just what's the word? It's not approachable, just like affordable. They're just allowing people to play airsoft the way they want to, and just giving that really nice entry point to people. Yeah, CYMA has really done that.
And we're not even talking about the AEP stuff yet.
No, we're not. All right, more stuff. I'm running out of companies I know. So, Elite Force and Umarex are getting better with their Glocks. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling maybe B tier.
I love the licensing stuff they do, so I'd say B. Yeah, they make a lot of stuff available for us that the ATF doesn't try to seize whenever they get imported.
Right. For me, I don't see a difference between GNP and G&G in Japan, but I think one is better than the other. Which is which?
G&G is cool for a lot of the stuff that we can't get from anywhere else. Like the GMP Stoner 63, a legendary piece.
Oh, Stoners are nice, yeah.
Legendary. But there's only like 2 or 3 things I could say that people really want from GMP now. And a lot of techs I talk to cannot stand working on GMP stuff. So
So you feeling wild card, C?
I'd put them a little lower than G&G, yeah.
All right, they're in C. Snow Wolf, they make a few little sniper rifles and stuff. I feel they're basically S&T.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like the stuff that Snow Wolf does that gets a lot of sales and that made a big impact on. And
they're Big Beretta. I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And they make the gun from Aliens.
Yeah. They also made the Barretts that were more affordable when the only other one you could get was the SOCOM gear one.
Yeah. D? C?
I'd say D.
C, I guess. D, done. All right, VFC, they're pretty good.
VFC, you hate them or love them. A lot of people have a lot of strong things to say about VFC, but I love their experience.
Especially their generations. Mark West was talking all about that with the 417, like the Gen 1 was, okay, and then like the Gen 3 is fantastic, so they definitely improve and they get better in their iterations, but I guess depending on what model you have.
Yeah. Like how when it comes to gas blowback stuff, a lot of the strong opinions come out. I'm trying to think like who made H&K stuff so easy to get and made it so well that it wasn't like, oh yeah, they made a new gas blowback FAL. Okay, but who's it made by? This company, and you handle it and it feels so crappily put together that it might fall apart. But then VFC does it and it's got like LCT levels of quality. If not better.
They look incredible from what I've seen, and like Mark West has just a beautiful 416.
Oh yeah. And the whole H&K M4 line, the 416, the 417, the N27, became like one of the defaults to go to for milsim here in the United States.
Yeah, it's a legit DMR.
Yeah, exactly. Sadly, the 417s, they fizzled out. Parts are hard to get. And I think they had a problem with the gearboxes breaking themselves, the shells.
All right, so I'm hearing B tier then.
Yeah, I would say B. They're getting better and better.
All right. LCT, I think you want to put that pretty high?
I would put them in B. Sadly,
Interesting. All right.
LCT.
Justification?
The build construction is amazing. I love how you can throw an LCT through a car window and it would still work. Nope, no scratches, no problems. But the internals are out of date, I feel. Everybody's jumping on MOSFETs and ETUs and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And their reasoning makes sense. So the reasoning that I get told by LCT reps is we made these so people can do their own internal work easier because we know they're going to swap out their own stuff. And so why even clutter it with our own MOSFETs and waste money that you end up paying for when you're just going to rip it out?
You're going to gut it anyway.
Exactly.
Just sell it. Just sell an empty shell.
Exactly. I guess you could do that. Just put your own stuff in it. So I agree with that. But if you wanted to buy a $400 gun and never need to do anything to it ever, I don't think LCT would be that company. For the externals, beautiful. For the internals, I almost want to take everything that's in an Arcturus and throw it in an LCT body, and then I'd be happy.
Nice. All right. For the next companies, I don't have a strong opinion of them because I haven't really used them. So let's just do a fast money round where you say what their rank is and we don't justify it. If you don't want to rank it, just say pass. 6mm Pro Shop.
Pass, really?
ASG?
ASG? They do a lot of good stuff for us. I would say C. I don't feel strongly about either.
Done. Crossman?
No opinion, really. I've never messed with this stuff.
ENC?
I haven't messed with their stuff lately. A lot of people like them, so I'd say C for now.
E&L Airsoft?
Oh, man. B? Very realistic stuff.
EMG?
I don't feel strongly either way for them, honestly.
Okay, Valken or Annex?
I don't hear any good stuff about them, sadly. I would say that's probably the only dumpster fire one I could say.
PTS?
PTS, they do a lot of good stuff for us, so I would honestly say B. When I mean good stuff for us, I mean as a community.
Yeah, they've got that cool folding Glocky gun, which I don't remember the name of, which is $700.
It's the magazines and stuff that I respect.
Oh, yeah, they're really good magazines too.
Oh, yeah.
The P-Mags are dope.
Yeah.
Umbrella Armory?
They're more of a boutique, so honestly, I'd put them in C just because they haven't had enough time to do anything crazy.
Cool.
Love them.
SOCOM Gear?
SOCOM Gear makes some legendary stuff, but C still for them. I know you said you don't need a reason this.
That's cool. JG? Jingong?
Classic. They're getting better too. I would put them in B just because of their reputation.
Really? We can't even buy them in Japan. They're not a thing here.
That's sad.
Next one here, MAS?
Moss.
Maple Airsoft Sports. Okay.
MOS. I have no experience really with their own things. I think they're more of like a head company that doesn't make their own thing. They're just in charge of ENL and Arcturus, as far as I know. So I don't even think honestly they're a manufacturer for stuff that we really know about.
I haven't seen them. All right, last one, King Arms or Eagle Force? You have to have an opinion about this.
I don't know anything about Eagle Force, but
really, they're all over Amazon.
Oh.
Like if you buy like a plate carrier on Amazon, it's always Eagle Force.
Okay, yeah, I have nothing to say about Eagle Force. King Arms, God, they were like G&G. They made all the crazy stuff that you couldn't get anywhere else. But I think a lot of it has fallen off, sadly. A lot of stuff that they used to do, they just don't touch anymore. I would love to see more FALs from them. But I think out of reputation and for what they could do, I would give them B tier.
B or D? C?
Bravo.
B. All right, done. So to summarize, for S tier, we've got Systema because of their amazing quality, Real Sword for the amazing quality too, and Systema for what they've done for the industry. We've got ICS for their innovation and Tokyo Marui for being straight Gs. And then all of B tier, C tier, and D tier are pretty self-explanatory. Nice work, man. I agree with this. This is a pretty solid list.
I know there's probably some people like, what the hell are they talking about to some of these brands?
Yeah. So at me in the comments and,
Go try to explain.
get some engagement. Yeah, at me in the comments and let's get some engagement on the video.